Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Brooke asks her ex to return home after Hope confronts Ridge. Hope sees Carter and Ridge embracing at Forrester and moves away from the door. Carter's hand is bleeding, so Ridge assists. Carter informs his friend that he didn't want to do this since he didn't want their friendship to suffer. When Hope enters, she asks Ridge why he is there. "I came to offer congratulations," he says. "Is everything good?" she asks. After examining Carter's damaged hand, Hope asks Ridge, "What brings you here?" "Here," moans Ridge. "In my former workplace," he points out that before she entered his best friend's mind and persuaded him to steal the business for her, everything around them belonged to him, his father, and his daughter. Katie and Brooke commiserate. Brooke tells Katie that she feels completely lost in the design office. Katie is aware that she must strike a balance between her duties as CEO and regaining control of the business for the Forresters. She can tell that adopting this stance is truly affecting her. Katie is aware that hiding her genuine motivations from Hope and Carter is difficult. They discuss the jewelry launch, and Katie remarks that Will's excitement for Elektra was adorable. She wishes she had had more time to savor it. Brooke concurs, she was quieted down. Everyone was, according to Katie, with the exception of Hope, who was eager to rejoice. Ridge ought to have been present for the successful launch, Brooke says, and the two of them ought to be together. Ridge has attended every launch up until this one, Brooke laments. She regrets that Hope and Carter pushed him out. Katie acknowledges that it was different. With the possible exception of Will, nobody else was prepared to party, but Hope was. Brooke grins. For his girlfriend, he was pleased. They recognize that Zend and Elektra are unhappy because they are Forresters, but Katie believes that Carter is also feeling this. What's going on with him, she wonders? Steffi is certain that Brooke at the Forrester mansion is only interested in herself and people with the last name Logan. Zend and Taylor believe she might be coming to terms with her conscience. Steffi begs her mother not to hold her breath as Brooke tries to persuade Hope that what she's doing is wrong, because she believes that to be extremely unlikely. Hope is so invested in this takeover that she will never let go, therefore there would be no purpose. She will not give up easily and has all she desires. Brooke is unwilling to abandon her daughter. Taylor believes she might be able to appeal to Hope's moral compass. Brooke is ecstatic right now, but Hope is a traitor, and Steffi adores her positivity. Zend maintains that none of them understands how much she's disturbed. Whether Brooke is feeling the effects of the takeover is still up for dispute. Zend is certain. Steffi believes that her father simply abandoned her. They discuss her complicity in her daughter's seditious coup and her subsequent promotion to CEO. According to Zend, morale is at an all-time low. Brooke, according to Steffi, revealed her true nature and left Ridge's life. Steffi and Taylor comment that Hope is the only one rejoicing at the firm after they are by themselves. "It's sad," Taylor says. "Where did Ridge disappear to?" Steffi wonders. Taylor acknowledges that since he departed, she hasn't spoken to him. "Do you think he went to Forrester?" Steffi frowns. Taylor wants to clear his thoughts, but he's not sure if he would go there. Now since it's the Hope and Carter show, Steffi says he would detest going there. She will not allow this to go on. They will regain control of the business regardless of whether the lawyers show up, Daphne does her magic, or Carter changes his mind. "Perhaps your father can reach Carter," Taylor muses. Carter informs Ridge at Forrester's main office that he is not brainwashed and that Hope did not infiltrate his thoughts. Ridge is asked by Hope if he came to start a fight. He is still loved by Carter. Ridge claims that he displays it in an odd way. Hope acknowledges that this has been difficult for him, whether his ego will acknowledge it or not. He was never allowed to go. Hope tells Ridge that although he and Eric are free to come back whenever they choose, the power structure will still be in place. "Oh, so I would answer to you," snarks Ridge. Brooke startles Katie. Carter is difficult to read these days, according to Brooke and Katie in the design office. It never occurred to Katie that he would want to gain power. She's also shocked that he doesn't seem more thrilled about his accomplishment. Katie exclaims, "Whoa." She asks whether Brooke now concurs with Ridge and Steffi that Hope influenced Carter. Carter is the one who put this all in motion. Brooke responds, with Hope's help. According to Brooke, she believed she was acting in the best interests of everyone, but it has led to conflict and tension. Although she can appreciate Carter and Hope's perspective, Ridge didn't deserve to be separated from his companion. Ridge notes at Forrester that his name is used extensively in this organization. This is going to explode out in their faces, he tells Hope. Does she notice how miserable Carter looks? Ridge is blamed by Hope for abandoning her mother and going to Taylor. Ridge opposes both their theft of his business and Brooke's involvement in it. Hope reminds him that he ought to give them thanks because he and his daughter made Forrester a toxic place to work. Did we do that? Ridge answers, yes, you. Hope responds. I was called a bitch by the dude. Ridge bares his fangs and growls, the man whose daughter uses the word slut when we all know her past. Hope tells him that she is done being their scapegoat, as is her mother. She boasts that the jewelry launch was a huge success. Ridge claims she had nothing to do with the jewelry launch. You're managing my family's company. Hope claims he enjoys controlling them. They belonged to that family once. She chastises him for disregarding her mother's input. That is not the case, according to Ridge. He is accused by Hope of being too insecure a man to support a strong woman. He has shown his true self to Brooke. Now there is a capable, good-hearted man running Forrester. The fragrance line will be just as successful as his initial debut. Ridge smirks and gestures to Carter, saying, you don't wear the crown at all, do you? This is the future of Forrester Creations, Ridge, and nothing and no one, not even you, is going to stop it. I'll have my gains. He then leaves. Hope asks Carter whether he's alright when they are alone. He doesn't answer. He nods, and she gives him a kiss after she says, we can't let them ruin what we have. As they embrace, Hope lets forth a tear. Carter looks unhappy over her shoulder. I hope Carter B&B. Brooke asks Ridge what he's doing in the hallway after spotting him. He questions whether she'll get him arrested. When Daphne and Zend arrive and observe, she yanks him into the design office. Ridge tells the blonde in the office that if it weren't for her daughter, he would still be there. She restates her belief that this is taking place and that she only accepted the CEO job in order to communicate with Carter. If he returns, she will be happy to step down. She's making an effort to keep things normal there. Ridge informs her that none of this is typical. Brooke concurs. She claims she is still the same person he fell in love with, even though the company may have changed. I remain your Logan. Please come home, I beg you. Simply get back to me. Brooke begs Ridge to return to her after Hope accuses him of being insecure and chases him away. Hope, feeling like a loser, was appalled to see Carter hugging Ridge after expressing his love for him. Steffi and Zend discuss the significance of Brooke's signals at Eric's. Brooke might be rediscovering her conscience, according to Taylor. Hope can be talked out of the takeover, but her daughter isn't holding her breath. She has her claws in too deep. Steffi is certain that Brooke will never be unfaithful to her daughter and that Hope has everything she could ever want. Hope lacks decency and is a traitor. While she appreciates her mother's optimism, she is certain that Brooke is ecstatic. That is not at all Zend's impression. Join SoapSpoilers.com as a subscriber. Receive SoapSpoilers.com's most recent post updates and more directly in your inbox. He is certain that Brooke is dealing with more than simply Ridge's breakup. He claims that because things are so wild behind the scenes, morale could not be lower. Daphne is willing to assist. The bright side, according to Steffi, is that her parents have reconciled. Steffi and her mother are left wondering where Ridge went as Daphne and Zend go. Despite how much he misses it, Taylor doesn't think he ever went to Forrester. Steffi is certain that he will not approach the Hope and Carter show's pity party rebellion. All Taylor wants is for Carter to pay attention to his inner guidance. Perhaps Ridge could reach him? Hope notices Carter and Ridge cuddling as she peers into the main office at Forrester. Ridge offers to assist in cleaning Carter's wound, but she remains outside. Carter claims that his actions were necessary and that he didn't want their friendship to suffer as a result. At last, Hope breaks in to inquire about how things are going. She questions why Ridge is there after noticing that his hand is injured. Ridge claims that he only came to view his old desk and carpeting. Before she took over his closest friend's mind and forced him to steal the business for her, it was his. Hope claims that all of this has been difficult for Carter, who maintains that he has not been indoctrinated. Carter supports her claim that they never wanted Ridge to go. Although they would like him to return, the existing power system would not change. Reminding them that this is his family's business, he claims that Carter doesn't appear to be a loved guy but rather someone consumed by guilt. She bemoans the poisonous work environment Ridge and his daughter established and accuses Ridge of taking advantage of her mother. She says she and her mother are tired of being used as scapegoats, and he moans. She reminds him that they are a part of the family, the part that has been overlooked, and that she once referred to him as father. Hope claims Dad is too insecure to support a strong lady and believes her mother doesn't feel appreciated by him. They are now living in a time of equality and justice. She assures him that nobody can stop her and Carter from being Forrester's future. "You don't wear the crown at all, do you?" Ridge asks, pointing at Carter. "Gains obtained unfairly." Hope whispers to Carter that they must not allow them to destroy what they have. She embraces him while they kiss. Brooke is attempting to work in the design office when Katie enters. Brooke laments that she feels completely lost. It's difficult to hide the fact that she's trying to return the business to the Forresters. Being CEO is clearly weighing heavily on Katie. They discuss how Elektra ought to be enjoying her accomplishment while she brings her sister some water. Except for Hope, everyone was quiet. According to Brooke, Ridge should be in charge of the business and she should be alongside him. They reiterate how the team was disbanded, and often, accomplishments like today's are praised. Ivy and Elektra are undoubtedly feeling stuck in the middle, according to Katie. She has a gut feeling that Carter is also bothered by it. They both agree that he's difficult to read these days. Katie never imagined that he would try to get control. He started working on the idea of growing the business. With Hope's assistance, Brooke continues. When she admits that she was actively involved in this, her sister is shocked. Ridge didn't deserve this, but Brooke is certain her daughter isn't spiteful. As Daphne and Zend watch, Brooke spots Ridge in the hallway and invites him into the office. Ridge is informed by Brooke that Forrester has changed. Regarding her daughter, he gripes. Brooke tells him that she believes she is reaching Carter and that this has been difficult for her as well. If he wishes to return as CEO, she offers to resign. He still fell in love with her, although Forrester has changed. "I remain your Logan." She says, "I just want you to come home." Carter's resolve was now evident in every line of his face, and he exerted more effort than ever during Eric's high-stakes strategy session. Carter's unwavering determination to guide the company's future was evident in the lavish, glass-walled boardroom of Forrester Creations, where every choice might mean the difference between skyrocketing profits and a disastrous collapse. The discussion was called by Eric, the seasoned patriarch whose insight had long led the family business, but even he was unable to deny the fervor in Carter's eyes as he outlined his plans for the company's future. Carter had spent weeks compiling data, calculating figures, and creating complex strategies to take back control of the company operations that had been sliding out of the family's grasp. Carter came out today with a resolute determination that left no room for question. His strategy was not just a recommendation, but a call to arms for all stakeholders present, as the room filled with the whispered whispers of executives and the tangible tension of unspoken rivalries. Eric, who had experienced both personal betrayals and financial disappointments, listened carefully to Carter's suggestion. As he laid out the procedures required to refocus the company's priorities and re-establish power within the Forrester fold, his calm and authoritative voice eased the strain. Carter's points were sharp and thoroughly thought out. They showed the weaknesses in the current management system in addition to the room for substantial expansion. He maintained that Forrester Creation's basic principles had been undermined by recent blunders and diversions brought on by internal strife and outside meddling, and that a daring, cohesive plan was required to revive the company's heritage. As he pushed for a restructure that would give the Forrester leaders, especially Eric, more responsibility while excluding those who had grown to be liabilities over time, his conviction was evident in every chart he projected and every bullet point he highlighted. Some of the board members were sparked by Carter's fervor as he talked, while others who were accustomed to the status quo were equally agitated. As he recounted past triumphs and compared the current difficulties experienced by Forrester to other periods of their domination, his tone became increasingly demanding. He made it obvious that the company needed to take decisive action to regain its competitive edge, which required making tough decisions regarding long-term investments, resource allocation, and leadership. As executives shuffled uneasily in their chairs, his comments echoed across the room, blending with the aroma of polished wood and pricey cologne. But Eric's experienced eyes never left Carter, taking in every detail of his case. The patriarch's thoughts whirled over decades of family history, balancing the promise of a new, more vibrant period against the allegiance of long-standing allies. Carter's strategy session was more than just a business gathering, it was a battleground where personal goals were exposed and ideologies fought. He emphasized that Forrester Creations had to evolve or risk becoming obsolete, citing current market trends, new technologies, and even geopolitical changes that could impact the global luxury industry. His presentation was a masterwork of facts and passion. Every prognosis and statistic was presented with such passion that it was impossible to watch with disinterest. In addition to outlining his strategy for streamlining operations and refocusing on the company's core values, he also provided a roadmap for leadership restructuring that would see authority move from a few complacent individuals back to those who had continuously shown the foresight and tenacity needed to weather difficult times. In the midst of the contentious debate, Eric stepped in with his usual practicality, recognizing the value of Carter's suggestions while warning against making snap judgments. With experience and a lifetime of lessons taught, Eric reminded the audience that we have weathered storms before. Even as Eric said, there was an unmistakable sense of urgency in Carter's presentation, despite the fact that every storm is different, and every decision must be measured. The older generation was pushed to accept change and see past the established hierarchies that had long characterized the Forrester heritage by the younger man's contagious enthusiasm. Carter's drive went beyond numbers. It was a statement that Forrester Creations needed to change, to move past its historical complacency, and to aggressively take advantage of the opportunities that were ahead, even if it required re-evaluating partnerships and reassigning responsibilities that had previously appeared unassailable. Outside the boardroom, rumors about Carter's audacious move had already started to circulate around the Forrester Creations hallways, with both family members and staff wondering what his approach might mean. While some feared it may spark internal strife that could destroy the empire from within, others viewed it as a crucial, even brave, step to revive the business. But for Carter, it was a calculated gamble. He was aware that, despite its disruptive nature, change was necessary for survival in a field that was both glamorous and unpredictable. His resolve was driven by both a personal urge to demonstrate that he was more than simply a supporting character in the Forrester drama, that he was a visionary who could guide the ship through difficult seas, and a desire to safeguard the company's future. As Eric dug deeper into the nuances of the suggested plan, his strategy session became almost ritualistic. He carefully examined every element, looking for flaws and assessing how solid Carter's theories were. As senior executives looked at one another with a mix of optimism and suspicion, the atmosphere in the boardroom became heavy with anticipation. At this crucial juncture in the company's history, the promise of innovation was clashing with the weight of tradition. A clear call for a new age of leadership that was not afraid to upend the status quo. Carter's effort was more than just a challenge to the status quo. It was a gauntlet thrown at the feet of anyone who dared to adhere to antiquated traditions. With Carter and Eric leading the charge, the conversation turned into a heated disagreement as the session went on. As Carter outlined the possible advantages of a simplified leadership structure that would encourage accountability and quick decision-making, his voice became more passionate. He maintained that those who were prepared to take chances, deviate from the status quo, and adopt an approach that placed an emphasis on adaptability and creativity would be the ones who would rule the future. A portion of the board that had become impatient with the glacial pace of change found great resonance in his remarks. However, Eric's calm viewpoint acted as a counterpoint, advising caution and consideration even as Carter pushed more. Eric's strategic observations served as a reminder that although audacious actions were required, they needed to be balanced with discernment and a deep awareness of the company's history. The discussion took on a life of its own during the debate. Torn between preserving a legendary past and paving a way for an uncertain future, it turned into a microcosm of the larger issues confronting Forrester Creations. As the meeting came to an end, it was evident that the seeds of change had been sown, even though the conclusion was still uncertain. Carter's demands for change were received with both enthusiastic support and cautious resistance. Carter's pressure had changed the subject, paving the way for a number of crucial choices that would reshape the business's course in the upcoming months and years. Long after the boardroom lights had gone out, the reverberations of the strategy session continued. The executives and family members discussed the merits of Carter's recommendations and made conjectures about their potential effects on the Forrester empire's future in whispered tones and private side chats. Carter saw the session as a struggle as much as a victory. It was a cathartic moment in which he shared his vision for a revitalized Forrester Creations, but it also served as a reminder that change is never free. His unwavering determination had stretched the bounds of what was feasible, but it also ran the risk of offending people who were firmly rooted in traditional ways of thinking. The conflict between the Forrester name's lasting heritage and the pressing need to change in a world that is changing quickly was ultimately embodied by Carter's firm push during Eric's planning session. Every word and every gesture had the power to either bring the organization together under a daring new vision or irrevocably shatter it. It was a scenario characterized by passion, intelligence, and the undeniable weight of destiny. Carter had demonstrated in that tense environment his unshakable dedication to Forrester Creations' future and his willingness to work even harder than before to make sure the business not only survived but flourished in the face of contemporary obstacles. A reminder that every breakthrough in the world of high stakes and even higher ambitions starts with a bold push, and that every legacy is built on the courage to embrace change, no matter how daunting the obstacles may be, was mixed with a lingering sense of possibility as the meeting came to an end and the executives filed out of the room. Spoilers for Tuesday, February 18, 2025's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful are here. Fans can anticipate Eric Forrester meeting with Ridge Forrester and Steffi Forrester Finnegan to discuss strategy. Carter Walton fights back against Ridge in the meanwhile. Read on to discuss what will happen in the upcoming episode of the CBS soap opera. Walton's dilemma with Carter. Hope Logan, Annika Noel, who just returned from complaining to Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, will react in the upcoming episode when she sees Carter and Ridge embrace. Brooke attempted to reason with Hope and explain Carter's conflicted feelings. Hope's main takeaway from the discussion was that she was somehow rescuing Carter from the Forresters. It's becoming increasingly apparent that love has little to do with Hope's romantic relationship. Fans are aware that Hope's motivations are simply to gain the upper hand against Steffi and to save her fashion brand. I hope Logan's battle. Despite his tremendous sense of shame, Carter refuses to acknowledge his mistake and instead seems to be manipulating the situation to keep Carter on her side. It would be easy to picture Hope repeating her seductive attempts on Carter once Ridge leaves, so she might also put an extra effort to ensure that Carter doesn't become too close to Ridge again. Forrester's devastation on Ridge. According to Tuesday, February 18 teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge will leave Carter at Forrester Creations and may disclose the incident to everyone once he gets home. It won't be long until Carter entirely turns on Hope, and Ridge can see that the man is beginning to crumble even though he will dig his heels in more. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Eric's strategy session, Carter pushes harder. The answer of Eric Forrester. Steffi and Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, already have a plan in place, but Eric and Ridge may develop their own plan to attack Carter and Hope from all angles while Ridge is updating his loved ones about Carter and holding a strategy session. Another problem is that John Finnegan wants to be honest with Steffi, but Penelope Poppy Nozawa keeps getting in the way. The future connection between Luna and Remy Price is another topic. Will Luna fall in love with Remy? Could they become allies? Is this a test or a redemption story? Fans will have to wait and see.